And this past year has seen many Atlanta area restaurants and breweries closing down, including 2 set to close next week.
That's right. It's an industry churn that's unsettling to some. 11 Alive's Doug Richards joining us live tonight in Ansley Park. So, Doug, what is causing all of this?
Well, costs are rising, certainly, particularly in trendy real estate areas like Ansley Park, where the Atlanta Beltline recently opened a segment. But this is an industry, the restaurant industry, which really has never recovered from the pandemic of 2020. On Atlanta's west side, a breakfast joint called West Egg thrived for most of its 20 years. But the pandemic 4 years ago stifled much of its business. And Jennifer Johnson says much of it never came back.
We're down from our 2019 sales numbers by about 20%. So, and if you combine that, of course, with increases in costs in other areas, it's just a formula that unfortunately doesn't work.
Though takeout sales went up, in-person customer sales never recovered enough to get the restaurant back to its pre-pandemic health. That in-store slowdown is part of what's behind the closing of some hometown breweries. A midtown brew pub called Torched Hop announced it is closing within a week. Add that onto a spate of brewery closings that started more than a year ago.
Whether it's cost of goods, whether it's labor and other factors that, the restaurant industry just, it's tough to do business.
Yet new restaurants continue to try to defy the challenges. The Atlanta Business Chronicle says a popular Charleston-based barbecue restaurant aims to open a shop behind Ansley Mall on a newly opened stretch of the Atlanta Beltline. It's the kind of bet on a piece of hot property Johnson was willing to make 20 years ago with West Egg.
I feel like right now is still a little bit of a scary time.
During what she says was a much different time.
So I would love to pick the brain to some extent of people who are in a growth mode now with restaurants because, listen, they must know something I don't know.
Now, Doug, some might
Johnson
ask,
says that she certainly...
Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I'll talk a little. Johnson says that she's not ruling out opening again, but she hasn't found a spot that makes sense yet.
Thank you, and I'm sorry for cutting you off earlier. I was going to say some might ask if restaurants have recovered since the pandemic.
Well, certainly many of them have rebounded, but there are enough of them that have really struggled with it, including West Egg, doing all the things that they know how to do and still haven't pulled it off such that that they feel they can continue.
Yeah, I mean, that effect is still lasting. It's evident. We're seeing it now. Doug, thank you so much for bringing that to us.